We are 3 days away from the Final Four in the NFL, the NFC and AFC Championship games, and both of them should be great. Both are rematches of games that we saw during the regular season, and both games during the regular season were very exciting and arguably could have gone either way. We spent time talking about Patriots-Chiefs last hour. This one, Saints and Rams. Remember, the Saints had the big lead. The Rams pulled their way back into it, and then the Saints found a way to pull away at the end of the game. Went back and forth, and again, this one could go either way. I don't think the Saints are as explosive now as they were back in November when they played the Rams. The Rams dipped through a couple of weak games, and then they have come back strong, and they took care of the Cowboys. And, Chris, I felt like I'm leaning Saints all week, but you could make a good argument for the Rams to go in there with the experience of having played in that very loud Superdome, to go back there, not be deterred, not be intimidated, and get it done.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I certainly would not be shocked if the Rams won this football game. The Rams are a very talented team. They're well coached on both sides of the ball. And let's not forget, it was 21-14. The Rams drive right down the field, and they tried the fake field goal. Do you remember that, Mike? And then they didn't get it. The Saints went down and scored, made it 28-14. Then on the very next play, Jared Goff throws an interception. The Saints scored again to make it 35-14, and the Rams came back just like that. And all of a sudden, it was 35-35, and of course, the Saints put the game away by scoring the last 10 points. But I'm also interested, to see which coach, has the guts to call the big trick play or whatever it may be in the moment. Both of these coaches have been fearless in those situations all year long. Sean Payton his whole career, and McVay for the first 2 years of his career. I guess these two would be the guys you would say have called the most fake punts, fake field goals. They do it all, and the constant pressure these coaches put on you, not only with their offensive game planning, but the things they do with the special teams unit as well. Those are little plays I look at that could be the edge or the difference in the game, like Sean Payton faking the punt last week and really jump-starting his football team.
Aggressive.
Yes.
We saw the Chiefs go for it on fourth down 4 times last week. Tom Brady talked yesterday about how the Patriots may have to do the same thing. I mean, you're going to have to score points when you can. So when you get to 4th and 2 on the opposing team's 47, you can't be deterred from trying to keep possession of the ball, because we saw it with the Patriots and the Chargers last week. If you don't match a team score for score, you're going to fall into a hole that you may not climb out of, and that happened to the Rams last time around. They climbed out of the hole. To their credit, the Saints were able to pull away and win the game. Give me one of the big matchups you're looking at as we focus on this NFC Championship game.
Well, I mean, kind of what we saw in the opening, and it was only on TV, but for the radio folks, was of course the matchup of Marcus Peters versus Michael Thomas, or really just how are the Rams defense going to match up with Michael Thomas this time around. The Rams defense is a little different than they were in the first matchup. They played a lot more man-to-man during that time of the year, and they've kind of adjusted now, and they're more of a zone coverage type of football team where they just sprinkle in a little man every now and then to keep you off balance. But what is Wade Phillips going to do to Michael Thomas in certain situations? Last week there was a few plays where the Rams doubled some of the receivers on the Cowboys in certain formations. Will they do that with Michael Thomas? Michael Thomas, his greatness is his physicality and his ability to catch the ball over the middle. He's not necessarily going to scare you with his speed or things like that, but it's how Peyton moves him around and puts him in different positions, and he can compromise your coverages with how he does put him in a bunch set or makes him the slot receiver, and oh gosh, now we got to change our rules. We wanted to double him. So when they do go man, do they put Aqib Talib on him, who's a little bit more of a bigger, more physical, true man-to-man corner than Marcus Peters is, who wants to play off coverage more? Or do they just say no, and we're just going to double team him if he's on our side? That's the one thing I look at, because they were absolutely killed by Michael Thomas the first time around. 211 yards, I believe 12 receptions. And if that happens again, the Saints are going to win the football game.
And he had 12 for 171 and a touchdown on Sunday against the Eagles. And before that game, there was a moment where Drew Brees talked to the players out on the field to get them fired up. The standard thing that we see all the time. And Brees gave a very impassioned and compelling speech. But if you watch that, and I encourage anyone out there to go find this, watch Michael Thomas while Brees is talking to the team. Watching him is scarier than anything Brees has to say.
Right.
That guy has himself whipped into a frenzy. I don't want to have to try to stop that guy with 1, 2, or 3 defenders. He is determined to make things happen. He is determined to beat you, and we saw it on Sunday. We've seen it in big games this year. He's had 180 yards, 129, 211. There have been some other games where he tails off, but I think part of it is they use him as a decoy, because if you are going to take him out of the game, we got other guys that can get it done. But on a game like this, on a platform like this, he's going to get his catches, he's going to get his yards, and he's going to be every bit as lathered up against the Rams as he was against the Eagles.
You know it. And, I mean, look at some of these plays. It's not like the coverage is bad here by Marcus Peters. It's not like he's getting toasted. He's there. But Michael Thomas is the best receiver in traffic in football. That's where he's amazing. You can cover him, and he's just going to go up and manhandle with his hands. There's one where he runs by him, and that's where they're going to have to be careful in those type of situations. Do you really want to get down there and jam a Michael Thomas in the slot, because he could throw you out of the way and then you're done and it's bye-bye. So they'll have to reevaluate how they do that. But he is a physical, tough football player who's fearless, and the Rams certainly are going to have a different game plan against him this time around.
Well, and for the Saints on defense, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have a game plan for this new rushing attack.
That's right,
that the
Mike.
Rams have put together, because you've got C.J. Anderson, who's got 3 straight 100-plus yard games, and Todd Gurley completely off the injury report on Wednesday. Sean McVay had said he'd be limited in practice. They had a walkthrough yesterday, but he wasn't even listed as fully participating with a knee injury. No mention of a knee injury. Gurley is fine. Gurley's fine. Anderson's getting it done. They better have an answer in the front 7 to avoid having holes blown open like they were against the Cowboys, and to get to these guys once they get through to the second level, because it was a failure last week by one of the best defenses in football. 273 total rushing yards. And also, by using that approach, what does it do, Chris? It keeps Drew Brees and company on the sideline.
That's exactly right, Mike. And you know, again, we've seen lately Jared Goff has not been, the Jared Goff that we saw in the middle of the year, or the guy that we saw go into New Orleans and throw for 391 yards and 3 touchdowns. And yes, I think this will be a big factor in the game. The Rams are the number 3 running offense in football. The Saints are the number 2 run defense in football. Something's got to give here. And I do think for the Rams to win this game, the first time around, they only gave the ball to Gurley 13 times as far as running the football. They're going to have to up that number and dominate the line of scrimmage a little bit more. 1, to help Jared Goff, and 2, Sean McVay is an amazing play action pass game plan designer, and he needs to keep the Saints in check with that alone, and that'll help give Goff some confidence. Goff again last week was solid but not great, and he is something that I do worry about a little bit in this matchup, because we just haven't seen the same guy over the last 5-6 weeks of the season.
Making it harder, too, for the Saints to stop Anderson and Gurley, the absence of Sheldon Rankins, who tore an Achilles tendon in the first quarter last week. So it hurts that Saints run defense. The numbers suggest that when he's not on the field, the Saints give up more yards per carry, far more yards per carry than when he's on the field. And he won't be on the field, but Anderson and Gurley will be. Give me another matchup you're looking at for the NFC Championship game.
Well, I think that, you got to look at the other side of the story there with the run game as well. That's what I think is fascinating. I mean, the Patriots, the Rams, the Saints, they're all like, in the top of football as far as running the football. And one of the big issues for the Rams all year has been run defense. They've been sloppy. I mean, Sue and Aaron Donald kind of just do their own thing at times during the year, and it's left them to be a team that lets up 122 yards per game running the football. But last week, they played really disciplined football against the Dallas Cowboys. Sean Payton, the Saints, they want to run the ball first with the 2-headed monster in Kamara and Ingram. And if they start running the ball on the Rams are in deep trouble. So, Aaron Donald, Sue, they're going to have another performance like we saw against the Dallas Cowboys last week, where they stay true to the defense. They do what they're supposed to do. No freelancing. No, I'm going to shoot the gap and go make a play. Because if they do that too often, it's going to be, oh, damn, I left my hole. And then it's going to be Alvin Kamara through the middle for a 40-yard gain. So I look at that again as the discipline of the Rams D-line. Can they keep that up and, stop the Saints from just absolutely overpowering them in that part of the matchup? First time around, the Saints ran the ball pretty damn well against that Rams defense.
How you feeling about these two games from a pick standpoint? I mean, we'll finalize our picks tomorrow, but I could see either team winning either game.
I am like in toss-up mode. I just really finished my film breakdowns like the last 2 days where I did deep dives into all 4 divisional games, and like I'm sitting here right now. I have a lean. I'm not going to tell it yet, but I feel like this is like the most coin flip AFC NFC Championship weekend that I can ever remember. I mean, I really do. It's hard. There's so many intriguing matchups within the matchups, and then great coaching who can add wrinkles to the game plan that we might not think of and go, oh man, that was a great way they exposed this scheme or that scheme. So that's where I'm really intrigued. And yeah, I'm not going to give you any tells until tomorrow. You're not cheating off my picks yet. Sorry.
Oh, trust me. I listen. Other than the fact that we agreed on the Chiefs on Saturday, I'm not looking to peek over your shoulder. That's for damn sure.
I'm 7-1 so far in the playoffs. I just like everybody to know that 7-1.
You're 7 and I want to see the proof. 7-1. I don't believe that.
I did go back.
Who did you get wrong?
I got wrong the Bears Eagles. I picked.
Oh, that's right.
Right. That's the only one I've gotten wrong so far in the playoffs.
That was a pretty big one.
That was a big one. Yes. But I stayed with it.
Because I got it right.
And I picked the Saints. I picked the Saints last week, and damn, I was nervous when they were down 14-0.
Oh, I was feeling pretty good when they were down 14-0 because I picked the Eagles. And you know what's funny? I've had people on Twitter who are Saints fans like call me out. And it's like, wait a minute, that's a little bit much, right? Because you were probably soiling your pants in the first quarter. Don't act like the game went the way you thought it was going to go, right. Saints fans.
Right.
You dodged a bullet on that one. You don't come out and flex after that game. That's one where you just run, and you hope they don't change their mind and give the Eagles the ball back with a chance to try to score the game, to score down the stretch and win the game.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.